So, in reality, I was planning to do a complete different theory for this episode. If you had watched my terrible quality stream, I hinted that it would be regarding Mifa. And that video will still be done, however, I'm still trying to get some translations and stuff before I write the script. So with that, back to the video. Today, I will be talking about the Yiga Clan, and how their biggest obstacle stopping them isn't the hero chosen by the sword, but something even more evil. And that is... bananas! Let's try that again. Bananas! Okay. One more time. Oh, come on! I'm done! I'm done! Screw it! Oh, how is that a banana? Oh well, the intro's done, so I better just continue with the video. So let's talk about the Yiga Clan. While Breath of the Wild introduced a bunch of new stuff to the Zelda series, one of the biggest things they added was these guys. Ninja-like warriors who pledge allegiance to Calamity Ganon and stop at nothing trying to kill the hero so the spectral monster can be reborn into the world and destroy it. As you hear from the NPCs in the game, the Yiga Clan are the Sheikah who rebelled against the king after he banished them due to being afraid of their powerful technology. You can even see this in the ancient picture depicting the history of Calamity Ganon and the royal family of Hyrule. Their insignia is worn by all who are part of the clan, being an upside-down version of the Sheikah one. However, if you know them for anything, it is most likely their obsession of mighty bananas. Whenever you defeat one of these soldiers in the field, they will drop at least one of them. Heck, there's a guy that will sell you 99, and you can actually buy them if you want to. Now, this whole idea is kinda silly and can make confronting these guys pretty funny, but it got me thinking, could these guys really go on a banana-only diet? And what consequences would it have on the person? Well, I'm about to answer that question. Now, before we get into the whole, is it bad for them or not, I thought I would first start with answering a question you guys might have had. Why bananas? I mean, while really wacky, it seems kinda strange that ninjas would be obsessed with this fruit. Some people have said that it was because it gives them an attack up bonus, which could be the reason. However, there's a small problem I have with that. While mighty bananas can give someone an increase in attack, it only works if it has been cooked first. And I checked the Yiga Clan hideout and there wasn't a single cooking spot in it. So they wouldn't get any sort of buff from it. Also, since they are basically ninjas, wouldn't they go for something like stealth instead? Now, if you think I'm saying Nintendo just made them obsessed with bananas for no reason, you would be mistaken. You see, when looking at a Reddit post, I saw someone give their own theory on why the Yiga Clan loved this specific food. I think it's the perfect time to say, disclaimer, I did not discover any of this, and full credit for this theory goes to the Reddit user Gomugeku. I highly recommend checking out their post. It's pretty interesting. Now with that said, I do have my own research to add to this, so I'll be going over that after the post. So basically, according to this Reddit user, they had come across the following information when looking up ninjas. In the unrest of the Sengoku period, mercenaries and spies for hire became active in the Yiga province, and the adjacent area around the village of Koga. Yiga province? Koga village? Sounds an awful lot like Yiga and Koga. Anyways, he goes on to talk about a famous poet named Masu Basho, I probably just pronounced that completely wrong, who lived in the Yiga province and was given a banana tree. Someone living in the Yiga province that also contains a place called Koga village who grew banana trees. Sounds pretty convincing. And it's not like this is very unlikely. From what I've seen in articles, Nintendo took plenty of inspiration from prehistoric Japanese art in the Jomon period to create the guardians and shrines. Jomon literally translates to rope pattern, and was in lots of their pottery designs. One of my friends once joked about the ancient helmet being an upside down pot, but that is literally what it is. So since Nintendo took inspiration from this time period, it doesn't sound surprising that they would do this with others. Anyways, I was interested in this topic, so I did a little digging, and found some very interesting information of my own. In Japan, for hundreds of years, in the Sengoku era, there were two supergroups of ninja, and they were called the Yiga and Koga ninja. What? I just did some quick research and already found another connection to the Yiga Clan. I'm not even close to finished though. I continued to look through what I found and got this. Other Yiga and Koga groups consisted of wandering ronin, who were masterless samurai, similar to modern mercenaries, who took home in the same region. Wandering ronin? Sounds kinda similar to a traveler, don't you think? They might not mean the exact same thing, but it sounds pretty close to what a disguised traveler does. Also, ronin means a wandering samurai who has no lord or master, and the blade masters look very similar to a samurai. And going even more in the article we read, in the mountains of Yiga existed a group of ninja known as the Yiga Ryu. Wait, so all of this literally ties in with a Reddit theory? Talk about a connection! Seriously, only part way into the video and I'm literally getting super excited as I write the script. Besides that, there's one other thing to point out here. As this information states, the Yiga Ryu had lived in the mountains. And the Yiga Clan hideout is located in an area with mountain-like landforms. So basically, there's a very good chance that this is where Nintendo got inspiration to create the Yiga Clan and their obsession for bananas. So finally, with that out of the way, we can talk about the real reason you are here. And that is whether eating lots of bananas will have consequences or not. Now, first of all, I do need to make it perfectly clear that overdosing on anything can be bad for you. Heck, drinking too much water could kill you. Anyways, let's go back to the mighty bananas. These things are everywhere in the Yiga Clan hideout, and we can assume that this is the only thing they eat considering the captured Gerudo says that all they eat is bananas. So obviously there are several nutrients that the body needs in order to live. And I want to keep this as uncomplicated as possible, so I'm going to go off of two things here for this theory. And that is 1, she could require the same protein and nutrient intake as a human, and 2, to make my job a bit easier, let's just say that they need to meet the daily protein requirements for an average male. As long as we meet that, we'll be good. Obviously there are a ton of other factors in regarding to whether this would be possible or not, but let's just leave it like this to simplify things. So, of course, that means we need to figure out the daily amount of protein needed as well as the amount an average banana has. First of all, from doing some research, I found out that a male needs around 56 grams of protein per day, whether very active or not. While a banana isn't known for being a very good source of protein, it does have some. Depending on its size, it can have around 1.1 to 1.66 grams per banana. I'll just say that each one has around 1.38, since that is the average of the two. So, 56 divided by 1.38 means that you would have to consume around 40.5 bananas a day. Wait, what? Around 40 a day? Wow, that is a lot of bananas. I guess now it makes sense that they have to store so many. Now, okay, well it might take a huge stomach, but let's just say you eat that many in one day. What will it do? Well, if you know one thing about bananas, then it's probably the fact that they are a very good source of potassium, and this is where things get rather interesting. On average, one medium banana has around 422 milligrams of potassium. So multiply that out by the number of bananas we need to eat, and you get a whopping 17,124 milligrams. Let me put that into perspective. You're supposed to only have 4,700 milligrams in a day. That means that you are having more than 3 times the amount required. 3.64 times the amount to be exact. And having too much potassium in your system is not really a good thing. It can lead to something called hyperkalemia, which is caused by an abnormally elevated level of potassium in the blood. The normal level of potassium in the blood is usually 3.5 to 5 milliequivalents per liter. Levels of 5.1 to 6 are mild hyperkalemia, while 6.1 to 7 is moderate. Anything beyond that is classified as severe hyperkalemia. The bad thing about this diagnosis is that it can lead to cardiac arrest and death. Now, here's the first problem with assuming the Yiga Clan suffer from this. That's if you eat all the bananas at once. Humans can technically eat up to 11 bananas spaced throughout the day and still be under the recommended limit. And you could probably get away with less protein than is recommended. Here's the thing as well. Exercise is one of the ways to get rid of a high potassium level. So, if the Yiga Clan spaced out their banana diet in a day, they could get away with eating them. Also, since they are running around Hyrule trying to hunt down the hero, they would be getting more than enough exercise. The worst that could happen to them given these circumstances is mild levels of hyperkalemia, which aren't even that life-threatening. Now, with that said, what if we just assumed that someone could theoretically eat all 40 bananas at once? What would the consequences be? Well, let's take a look. On average, a banana has around 11.6 milliequivalents of potassium. Multiply that by 40.5 and we get 469.8. Now, the average adult male has around 5 liters of blood in their system, so divide our MEQ value by 5 and ladies and gentlemen, the level of potassium in your body would be around 94 milliequivalents per liter. Yeah. And the signs of severe hyperkalemia start at 7. Now, even though this would probably kill you instantly, that is only if you ate all the bananas at once. And the Yiga Clan is clearly doing just fine. What about now? Does this mean my theory is busted? Well, no, because we have forgotten about one person. The one who is suffering from severe hyperkalemia. And that is Master Koga. And I have evidence to prove it. What evidence, you say? Well, let's take a look at his compendium log information. The leader of the Yiga Clan, a group formed with just a single objective: eliminate Link. He sends his minions all over Hyrule in search of you, but tends to spend most of his time napping and generally loafing around. Despite this, his mastery of the esoteric arts has earned him a deep respect. Even if he were to die, his followers would never give up their one and only task. This might not sound like it is proof, but let's just take a look at the symptoms of hyperkalemia, shall we? Nausea, fatigue, muscle weakness, or tingling sensation. Now, automatically the first and last one are out, as we don't see anything like that when we meet him. But the second one is interesting. Fatigue. And if we look at the log again, it says that he tends to spend most of his time napping and generally loafing around. As it says in the compendium, Koga doesn't seem to do much. If he was active like the other Yiga Clan people, then he would be fine, but he does nothing. Just loafs around, which then leads to the next symptom, muscle weakness. When you fight him, he doesn't even fight head on, just throws giant metal balls at you without actually lifting them with his hands. His fights also over very quickly, showing how weak he has become. And this is because of all the bananas he eats. And if we consider that he spends most of his day napping and doing nothing, then it's not that hard to think that he eats bananas in huge quantities over a small period of time. The chances of Koga dying before Link even shows up to retrieve the Thunder Helm is big. And because of this, it explains how the Yiga Clan can survive with his diet when he's on the verge of death. So maybe next time you will think twice about cooking those 5 bananas in one recipe for Breath of the Wild, because it may just be your last meal you ever have. Yeah, no. Everyone would be dead. Sure, like I said, if the human body only required protein to actually live, then okay, you could live off of bananas for the rest of your life, but would have hyperkalemia. Like I said before, there are several nutrients that you need to live, and there is no fruit on Earth that has all of them. So, the entire Yiga Clan would just have an organ failure or something, and that would be it. But, who knows? Maybe the Sheikah are different from regular humans, but it was still fun to talk about. At the same time, maybe the Yiga Clan is actually just a bunch of frauds. But I guess we'll never know. Wow, so that was an interesting episode. Never thought I'd make a theory talking about ninjas and banana overdosing. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It took me a while to get all the research on this, and I'm glad how it turned out. Like always, if you like what you see and want to support the channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to join my Discord, the link will be in the description. I've been Nintendo Black Crisis, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye, guys.